live on YouTube at 2 p.m. every Tuesday. Hi, and welcome to our new thing we're doing called Q&A Tuesday. And hopefully you enjoyed the little intro I put together. What do you think, Dougie?
Yeah, I was in the first shot, I think.
I think you were, yeah. And we get a lot of email questions or people Facebook message and direct message of Instagram. And we don't always check like Facebook messages very often. So we find them a couple of weeks later or months later. But I thought instead of ignoring these questions that we can't always answer by email, we try to do a show on Tuesdays where we answer them live. It's something kind of fun, something new. And Dougie, thanks for taking time to join this fun little show. And we'll just get started. The first question came by email is about Tyvek tape. And it was somebody who watched my episode on boat repair. And I'm going to make myself a little bit bigger here. Let me see. And I talk about using tear aid for boat repair. And I'm fine. It depends on the boat material you're using, with what you want to use. But I really like tear aid for most boats. And so I'm using type A for every type of boat right now. So I suggest using type A tear aid. But I also talked about Tyvek tape. And the question is, could you please show how and what we could repair using Tyvek tape? And honestly, pretty much anything. I'd repair boats with this. You could repair your Gore-Tex jacket with this. You could repair your tent with this. This is good tape. The difference is, this is about $30 for a 5-foot roll of Tyvek tape. So you might run out of it, right? Where this is $16 for 160 feet. So for me, I'm going to bring tear aid, knowing that if I have a lot of boats like have holes in them or long holes or have to repair a lot of stuff, I could run out of this stuff. And I have this as kind of a backup. And this is kind of an unlimited supply. So less expensive, not as good, more expensive, better. So that's that question. Anything to add, Freshie?
I've used both. They're both great. I thought the Tyvek was a lot more expensive than you just said.
$16. I just Googled it just to double check.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
Now, I've never actually used Tyvek tape in the field. I just hear it's good. Does it work okay?
I've had a piece on my Neo Air Thermarest pad. Mm-hmm. It's been on there for like 3 years and it's still doing fine. So
Tyvek tape.
Yeah. Wow. And it's just about a 1 inch by 1 inch patch over a small hole. But yeah, it's been hundreds of nights on there and, inflating and deflating, and it's doing fine still. So that's impressive.
Yeah, that is impressive. I would assume it would have got you off of the trip and that's it. And I've heard of people repairing rafts, and, I'm assuming tear aid's better, but this stuff is, you have a lot of it and it's not that expensive.
Yeah. You can wrap it around a lighter, like wrap 5 feet around a lighter, 3 feet around a lighter to store for if you're going lightweight.
It's a good idea. Most of us rafting have plenty of room for 165 feet, but for pack rafters, you're saying like basically pull it off of here and then wrap it around something like a paddle. You could wrap it under paddle maybe. I know, Doug, you wrap duct tape around your paddle for the same reason, so it's just always there.
Yeah.
I have a comment. Came with a repair kit. Do I just surface out glue on the patch? This is a good question. So in general, repair kits that come with boats are pretty useless. I mean, they have to give you a repair kit, I think maybe by law. I don't know, but they just give you a repair kit, which isn't actually complete to repair the boat sometimes. Like a lot of them have some stuff, but not other things. You need scissors to cut the material, but they don't come with scissors. And so the metal star-shaped tool is to remove the valves if you need to, which you rarely need to do. And so I bring them on expeditions, but don't bring them on day trips. And the patches and the glue, you need patches, you need glue, you need a little, you probably need some, depending on, it's probably, depends on the glue, but you might need MEK or toluene to clean the boat. You need a rag to clean it up with. It probably doesn't come with a rag. And so for me, I would, so you're asking, do I just dry the surface and glue on the patch? No, it's way more complicated than that. You clean the surface with a solvent. You buff it up with some sandpaper. You put a layer on, let it dry. You put another layer on both sides, the patch and the raft, let it dry, and then you put them together and you push the air bubbles out. And so I would suggest ditching the repair kit and just bringing Terraid, which you can just cut with scissors and put on as a patch, and Tyvek tape as a backup.
How big of a hole do you think that would be able to handle?
So this is why I got convinced this is the way to go. This year we put an 18-inch hole in one of our wing boats on the Illinois. I wasn't there, but our guides did, and they fixed with Terraid.
Wow, that's impressive.
And they got it down the Illinois. It wasn't just like they floated flat water.
Yeah.
They went down a bunch more rapids with Terraid covering an 18-inch hole. But they only had 5 feet. And so, if on an 18-inch hole, probably you took, a good portion of this. If they blew that, they could repatch it with this. If they blew another boat, they'd have tons of this to just go with.
Yeah. So what do you bring if you're going down the wind? Like, let's say you're going to row your cat down the wind. How much do you bring as a repair kit? Do you bring a spare oar-lock?
Yeah, I have it right here somewhere. Let me see if I can grab it really quick. I personally bring a lot of stuff to fix boats. Let's see, I think I have it right here. So this is my repair. I'll make myself big again. This is like my repair kit for a day trip when I'm rowing.
Okay.
And so I have a few things. I have a spare pin because I run pins and clips. You asked about an oar lock. I have a pin. I have this thing to remove the I have oars up here, so I'm looking to remove the oar blades from oars. It's a nice tool for that in case you need to. Channel locks because there's like nuts and bolts on it to deal with. I have a spare flashlight in case I have to hike out at night. And vice grips. So I have vice grips and channel locks because then I can like work bolts both ways and have 2 different tools that have different uses. This is that star valve tool he was asking about. Again, one of these is for the pressure relief valve in the floor, and one of them is for the regular valve. That's why there's 2 thingies. But something, have you ever used that in the field, Dougie?
No.
I mean, neither. We just power through and get back to the warehouse and deal with it there. What's it called again, Fresh?
Socket.
A 1/2-inch socket. NRS uses 1/2-inch bolts for other frames, so I have this handy. And I have a deep socket so I can get into some of those hard to get ones. This is a multi screwdriver that can be like flat or Phillips, standard or Phillips or whatever. And this is actually the size you need for the nut driver you need for pins and clips when you're putting your clips on your oars. And let's see what else I have. I have 2 screwdrivers. These are kind of excessive because I already have this thing, but just in case. So a lot of hardware stuff. And then I'll just throw this in for repair.
Yeah. And you're pretty well set up to fix other people's boats with that setup too. I mean, you've got all the tools. Yeah. I'm surprised that now that I have this here, I'm gonna go through it. I usually do have a spare oar lock, even though I don't typically run oar lock. Sometimes I do, or if I'm with somebody else who breaks an oar lock, I'll have a spare for them. Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I care. But this is like kind of rowing based stuff. And what I do is I look at the boat I have and make sure I have every tool I need for everything.
Yeah.
And then I use Terraid. If I'm going to go on a longer trip, I'll throw in the Tyvek tape just to deal with more repairs. I have not tried Flex Seal tape.
I just heard of Flex Seal, that more of the caulk, the silicone sealants recently, that somebody I know used it on their truck and they said it was amazing, but I haven't heard of the tape.
I used it like our house in Idaho. I used it to cover up a hole that was drilled for a hose to go outside the house. So I used it for the building. I heard a rumor, and this could just be a rumor, that if you put Flex Seal tape on, it degrades the surface, and that's why it bonds so well. And so I think if you put it on your raft, it might not be good for your boat. So, but that I don't know for sure. Somebody told me it's a bad idea, but I can't remember why.
All right. Is that David Berg from up near Seattle? Is it a friend of mine? If that's that David Berg, I'm not sure if it is.
Well, David, if you've used Flex Seal Tape and you have thoughts, please add in the comment section down below or leave us a comment. Next, footwear. Next question. We have 3 questions today. Oops, let me put the question back up. Let's go back to this. And somebody's saying their feet get cut from gravel and sanding their shoes. And first of all, I mean, that's the downside of shoes is sand and gravel get in. So you have to be kind of careful. And I mean, if that happens to me, I empty my shoes out during the day. And then he's asking, do we wear booties? Do we tape our toes? Oh, go ahead, Doug.
Well, I was just going to say it really depends on the where you're carrying the boat in and out of the water, or if you're having to portage at all, what surfaces that's like. So, I mean, some rivers I know that I've been on, it's just all big rocks and there's never a chance for gravel to get in your shoe. But some rivers, yeah, they just fill up like crazy, like beaches. If I'm sea kayaking or sailing, for example, the sand and those pebbles and those beaches just fill in your shoes. I don't know of any great solution for that. Yeah.
Yes. Do we wear booties? I don't wear booties. Do you tape your toes like climbers? I never have. I tie my hands a lot if my hands get cracked or hurt, but I've never tied my toes. Anything on long-lasting and durable footwear would be appreciated.
There are good booties out there. Sailing in Baja, I go out sometimes for, we're going out kind of like a sea kayaking trip for a month, and I've had good luck with booties. You have to find ones that have a good sole that is not super uncomfortable to walk on the pebbles. Like it has to be decently thick, but those are nice. They do keep a lot more gravel out.
Sweet. Yeah. It's just like, it seems like, yeah, it makes, I guess, put booties on and then your shoes, but the gravel's still in your shoe. Well, so you're still like stepping on the gravel.
The booties I'm thinking of, you wouldn't need the shoe, just the booty. Like it's like a surfing booty, but with a hard sole that you could walk around on.
Yeah. For Whitewater, like the neoprene booties, like neoprene socks.
Yeah, neoprene booties, but they have a thick sole, like kind of like the Whitewater ones we used to use back in the day.
But if they have a thick sole, how are they going to fit in your shoe?
No, you don't put a shoe on over them.
Oh, just neoprene booties.
Yeah, like not neoprene socks. That would be different.
Yeah,
but neoprene booties. Yeah,
and I'm not into that for Whitewater because the neoprene booties can get sucked off your feet. Right? They're not like they're zipped up the side. They're not on really well. You can't like get them on really tight.
Well, there are other ones that, I mean, you could bring up just bring up the NRS page and we can look at it. There's some that I would say are secure enough for like a zip up and a Velcro situation. I know what you're talking about though. Like the ones we used to rent at Davis to people, those are not, especially if they're a little big, they could come off pretty easy.
Let me add this. Share. Hold on. Stop screen. So I'm on the REI site right now. So like these ones, like this one here, it could slip off your foot. Where you're saying these ones with like this have a bunch of straps and fancy things.
Yeah, I would go. See, that's a pretty flexible sole. I would go for something even thicker sole than that if they have anything.
I mean, that's the thing that I think too. My first thing is they can just slip off your foot. And second is that they have the soles. If you step on rocks, they're going to kind of hurt. Like the sole is pretty flexible. Yeah. It's fine if you're like a passenger staying in the boat the entire time, but walking in these can kind of hurt and they're not going to grab onto a slippery rock.
Yeah. I've seen some that have a little bit thicker sole. I don't see them on this page from NRS, but, you might be able to find something. Look out. Like, I can't remember which ones I've used. Tyvek used to make one that was sort of it's a boot that's neoprene. So it's lace up, but it's like slip on and has some laces. That was good. I don't remember what they used to call it, but it was a good one. Does Tyvek have it? Can you look at Tyvek's website? I haven't looked at their website.
I don't know. I don't think they do. They don't have a whole lot of Whitewater stuff anymore.
And then Adidas just bought 510, so maybe they have some stuff on there.
Man, I just got these shoes, Dougie. Have you heard about these?
Is that what Brody's got?
This is what Birdie's got. I was kind
Yeah.
of anti these shoes for a while.
Yeah.
Go big in. I wasn't really into these. These are the Adidas Heat RDY or something.
Yeah.
And just watching him wear them, they look cool, first of all. And they have awesome grip. These are drain holes through the bottom.
Yeah.
So I just got a pair of these after watching him wear them, and they're pretty nice. I haven't worn them yet, but just seeing him use them, they're pretty sweet. They're like $60.
Yeah.
They're not that expensive. But just a couple things. Wondering how we keep our feet in good shape all season. What I do is I like to wear shoes on the river now just to protect my feet. And again, if I get like sand or gravel in there, I just dump it out. I stop at lunch or stop, during the day and let it out. And then in camp, I wear shoes and socks.
Yeah, I would definitely second that. I feel like if you need it, you can put lotion on too, but really just shoes and socks over the course of the night. Yep. Let your feet not kind of get some moisture back and heal a little bit. If you're wearing sandals all the time, they just keep kind of cracking and drying out.
Yeah. It's very tempting to get to camp and put flip-flops on and wear sandals, but that's what's going to ruin your feet. Like, you need something with socks to cover things up. And that's the biggest thing. Or also off the river, I'll put shoes and socks on. I'll try not to wear flip-flops too much. That's how my feet get really dry. And then for long-lasting and durable footwear, quite honestly, nothing's going to last that long. And I've thought about this a lot. Because the shoes are going in and out of the water all the time, it's just really hard on shoes. And so it's really hard for manufacturers to make shoes that get wet, dry, wet, dry, wet, dry so much. So in terms of long lasting, I mean, I know 510 used to make some pretty long lasting stuff, but it wasn't infallible. And you're just going to go through shoes. That's the downside of the sport, is just the nature of what we're doing. I mean, these things look durable to me because they have this big rand around the outside. And every time I buy something I think is super durable, it ends up cracking way before it should. But I think it's just the nature of what we're doing.
I got a pair of Astrals, the Hyaks, and I heard Astrals tend to just break down pretty quickly. So I put a seam of Aqua Seal in that first stitch right above the bottom of the shoe.
Yeah.
And I'll see how that does. So far they haven't fallen apart, and I've had them for a couple of years now. So maybe that will help.
Yeah.
Not sure.
The Astrals are great shoes. But they're like everything else. They just don't last that long. And it's not Astral's fault. It's just really hard to design a shoe that is made to go in and out of the water so much. Let's catch up with the comments here. How does the sun and storing your boat outside affect longevity of your raft? Dougie, this is a Dougie question.
I don't know, actually. I mean, of course, the instinct is that, the sun is going to destroy anything. It just does. If you can keep your raft under shelter as much as possible, do. Sometimes that means that you have to roll it up. But Zach, I know you leave your boats out all the time. What do you think? Do you think? Well, not all the time, but you had a raft in your trailer at your house for a couple months.
Oh, for the winter, yeah. I mean, when I'm boating a lot, I'll leave it outside. But if I'm not going to use it for a month or two, I'll definitely store it inside. I think that it mainly depends on the color of your boat and the fabric. So I think high-end boats like a Moravia or a Sotar or a Wing urethane will last way longer in the UV light and just in the sun. And they also have coatings that help them with that. Whereas if you have a PVC boat like a Rocky Mountain, I don't think I would leave that in the sun. Those things already have long-term durability issues without that. So I think the higher end boats I'd feel more comfortable with. The lower end boats I would try to get out of the sun more. And the boat I left out all winter, or most last winter last year, was a Wing, but I was also using it once a week, so I could justify it. But if I'm going to store it permanently, I'll put it away.
Yeah, and they're made for the sun, so obviously if you're using it, definitely don't be afraid of keeping in the sun. But just whenever you can, put it away. Is that what you think?
That's my take. Yeah, I mean, store it inside if you can. If you're storing it for the winter, not using it for 6 months, don't leave it out. That I definitely put it away. I would prioritize that. That's cool. I'll have to check this out, Matt. They were sold out all summer, and they finally had some available, so I picked some up. Nylon stockings. Huh, that's cool. What's a smock? Do you know, Dougie?
I don't know.
Yeah, that was the same with me. I used to wear flip flops all the time, and then especially as I got older, I started getting cracked feet more and more, and I just solved it with socks and sandals. It's kind of nerdy. Sounds like something Dougie would do. Smocks with neoprene socks, huh? I don't know what a smock is, but that sounds cool.
I don't
either. So anyway, for longevity, take care of your feet in and out of camp, and for long lasting and durable, it's like anything. The more you pay, probably the more durable it's going to be. I mean, it's not perfect, but an expensive shoe is probably be more durable. If it's something super inexpensive, it probably won't last. But it's not perfect either. And our last question of the day is about helmets. Do you have any favorite helmets? Dougie, do you have a favorite helmet?
I don't. Wow. I've had a ProTech forever, and I still have it. Things I like about a helmet are the new ones have a lot of insulation built in, so I haven't tried that yet, but I always like one that I can fit a skull cap under and then take it off if I get hot. That's kind of my go-to, and I wear a skull cap most of the winter, and then spring and summer or spring and fall, I might go down a layer. So I like something I fit a skull cap under for my ears mostly, and I feel like that helps with the water getting in my ear too. So anything with ear protection, and possibly the new ones that have a lot more insulation built in, like the one that Amy tried the other day, she didn't need a skull cap because it was so warm in itself. Yeah. And then I like the visors. That helmet I have, my last two helmets, I've glued on a visor to it.
I'm gonna go back, ask this question really quick. He meant Crocs with socks. Sure. Yeah. The problem is Crocs don't stay on your feet. So I think an important thing about whitewater shoes is that they stay on your feet if you swim.
I think he's talking about. No, maybe not.
In camp.
I was thinking of camp. I don't know.
Yeah. So I wouldn't wear. I'd wear Crocs. I wear Crocs in camp sometimes with wool socks. They take care of my feet in camp. It looks dorky, but it's simple, kind of like what Peter was saying.
Yeah.
But on the river, I wouldn't wear Crocs because, again, if you swim, you could lose them, and you want shoes.
Yeah. So what's this helmet, Zach?
So this is the Rocker, and I have it right here. This is my favorite helmet. Right here, it's. I think this is the one that Amy tried the other day. This is, I think, the best helmet out there personally, and it has. I don't have it with me, but it has a little ear cover. So if it's cold, there's little ear covers to cover your ears. It has a lot of padding, a lot of insulation, keeps you warm. It has amazing protection, and it has the visor you were talking about.
Yeah.
And so I think this is the absolute best helmet on the market right now. Put it back up here.
It's kind of pricey.
It's expensive. Yeah. So, I mean, it's like, again, it's like stuff. If you want stuff that's like comfortable, protection, durable, it's going to cost a lot of money.
I feel like the ProTech is $45 or something like that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But the bonus about these is they look cool. You have to admit that looks cool. I mean, this is a cool looking helmet, right? So that's why it's my favorite helmet. And I think with helmets, you want it to be comfortable and look cool.
Well,
so we'll wear it more.
Okay.
Dougie, if you have a choice, you're like, I don't know, I'm rafting class 3. Do I really need a helmet? You're probably more likely if it's comfortable and it looks cool.
Comfortable, yes. I don't worry as much about the looking cool, but helmets are not something to skimp on. Like, that's one piece of gear it's worth protecting your head. And I think the key is to wear it, like you said. So
yeah, and this is another helmet right here. This is a pretty simple. I mean, this is like a $25 helmet, probably like Dougie's ProTech. It does the trick. It protects your head if you fall out. It's not as this will provide better protection. This is just like better designed for hard impacts. It's more expensive, but this one is really good. It's designed for whitewater. It's adjustable, but it's not going to be as comfortable. So if you're wearing it on 1, 3, or 4 day trip, awesome. This is a great helmet. You're going to wear it here and there, awesome. But if you're wearing it day after day all the time, you're not going to love this helmet. It's going to not be as comfortable. But again, it costs less. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I'll show about a few other helmets that I like.
Zach, have you ever broken a helmet? while it's on the river?
No.
While on the river. Have you seen one? I've seen the straps break.
Have I ever seen a helmet break on the river? I don't think so. I've seen them break like in transport. Somebody put them in their bag and something crushes it.
Yeah.
Or my dog's eaten a helmet before, things like that. But I've never seen it on the river.
Yeah, I think the only place I've seen them fail is the strap connection to the helmet breaks. And I've seen that a lot. Maybe that's because I've seen like sea kayak helmets that are rusted. The rust eats away at the rivet.
Oh, yeah, because the seawater kind of eats away at something inside of here.
Yeah.
And then it breaks.
Yeah.
So this is my other favorite helmet right here. And I actually wear this one the most. And so it's not as protective as the Rocker. It's the same brand. This is the Rocker. This one's more protective. It's a bright color, so it's visible. It's warmer. This one to me is it's a little more comfortable and it looks way cooler. And it's just, to me, it's simpler to wear. And so you can see it has a lot of scratches because it's not because I hit rocks so much, because I'm just like, it's my quick and easy, just grab a helmet. Has an awesome visor. So this is my go-to like class 3, easy class 4 helmet. This is more when things get serious. I'll bring this helmet again because it's better protection and the bright color. I'm more visible with the red. So I personally have both. Just I'm on the water a lot, so I can justify having a couple of helmets. And that's this helmet here, the Strutter. And again, it provides really good protection. I mean, this is a good helmet. It's just not as good as their best one. Still pretty expensive. And
now, one thing I mean, this is getting into the nitty gritty, but so that helmet, the visor is low, like a baseball cap almost. And the other one, the Rocker, the helmet, the visor was higher. Like, I think it's, maybe that's for visibility if you're swimming. I'm not sure what. But
is it really?
The reason I'm saying is because my buddy Kurt, I know he got one of those, maybe that one, and he said it just didn't block the sun, the low sun. He said
this one here, the high one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's adjustable though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he knew it was adjustable, and he said he put it as low as possible.
It's not that adjustable. I mean, this visor, honestly, Dougie, this visor is almost for looks. I don't think it's that good of a visor for protection. It's okay, but
do you ever? I mean,
not amazing.
I find the visor super helpful if the sun's low on the water.
No,
it doesn't bother you. Okay.
No, the visor's not even a factor for me. I'll just wear. I don't know. I'll cover my eyes or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think the visor looks cool, and so it's nice to have the visor. I mean, this helmet looks cooler with this visor on it, right? It's like, oh, that's a high tech visor. Yeah. It looks like a stormtrooper helmet without the visor.
Yeah. And maybe Sweet would have something to say about that. Like it's an additional, like, I don't know, to protect you from certain headshots that you might glance off.
That's why I like this helmet actually a lot of ways, because if I like have it on, I slam into something, this protects in front of my face. So it's actually this helmet is just this is the more protective helmet in general, but this is pretty flimsy. You can see I'm bending it right now. So if I hit something head on, it might break. Who knows? It's attached in a way that's adjustable. You can see it moves.
Yeah.
Where this one, it's a solid piece of the helmet. Like if I headbutt a tree, I'm not going to headbutt the tree. Right. Yeah. If I headbutt the tree in this, I might actually headbutt the tree.
You won't nosebutt the tree.
Yeah. But this one, I don't know. It's comfy.
Okay.
This is my comfortable helmet. Like I like this helmet a lot more. This one I feel actually a little bit claustrophobic in. Because it's just a little bit much covering my head. So it's a little claustrophobic, but it is better protection.
Do you own the earpieces for that one?
Yeah, they're just hanging up over there.
Yeah.
I don't like wearing the earpieces because I can't hear that well.
Yeah. That's a problem for sure.
Yeah, and also I feel a little claustrophobic. Like just me personally, when things are covering my head that much, it just feels awkward to me.
Yeah.
And that's just a personal thing. But this is Strutter, also really expensive helmet. But like, if it's something if I'm going to be guiding class 3 all summer long and I have to wear a helmet, this is the helmet I want, because it doesn't cover too much. This one is to be really hot on hot days.
Yeah.
Right. Because of the all the stuff inside. If you're just sitting in the back of a raft, not getting wet, this would get super hot. Right.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're kayaking and your head's getting wet, this will be fine. whereas this one's good for like just sitting in a raft because it doesn't have all the insulation.
Yeah.
So there's one more helmet they make. Let me go back to that website. I really like, and
they've gotten into mountain biking and skiing helmets too.
Sweet. I mean, they're mainly a skiing company, I believe.
Okay.
I think the Whitewater is almost on the side. This is another good helmet right here that is a good compromise between like safety and cost. This one's it's on sale right now for $104.
That might be the one that Amy tried the other day.
I think it might be, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think she had the rocker. I could be wrong, but this is just a good solid helmet. I think it has solid protection. It doesn't look as cool as the other ones, but it looks plenty cool. That's the one I'd go with. And then here's all the colors. And so if you want to stand out or have it, there's more color options. If you want to pay the full $150, that's kind of cool.
Click on the size guide for a minute for me on one of them.
Size guide, like
it's
there?
It's right by the colors, or that. Yeah, there you go.
Size guide, right there.
Great. So those are super helpful. I'm always in a small medium, but it's a good idea to measure your head to see which helmet you are in.
Yeah. So that's the last one. And of course, they make a full face if you're that rad, and you're worried about hitting your face, which we probably all should be. They make these cool. That's a cool color.
It's only $30 more than that non-full face.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe I should get one. But so for me, to answer the original question, I think there's a lot of great helmets out there. I think there's this, which is just the basic, like this fulfills all the Whitewater Sports qualifications for a helmet. It's gonna do you just fine. It's just not going to be as comfortable and look as cool. There's a whole mid-range. There's WRSI helmets that NRS sells, and there's a whole bunch of other mid-range helmets that are like look a little cooler, offer a little more protection, have some more cool colors. And then I really believe that the Sweet helmets are the high end. Like nothing compares. That's my opinion to the Sweet helmets. What do you think, Fresh?
Yeah, it sounds good. Good summary.
Well, that's the end of our first ever Tuesday Q&A. Dougie, thanks for being here for helping answer questions. And this is something, one more question we'll get to. This is something I want to do weekly. Do you look at Gath helmets? We did not. I've never heard of a Gath helmet before.
I've heard of them. I think they might have been like a windsurfing type helmet back in the day, but I don't know their recent stuff.
Let me see if I can up. I'll take one more second here. Gath helmets. I feel like I've seen these before. I have seen these. Are they good? They're expensive. Wow. They're expensive like the this looks like you're an astronaut. So I'm not sure. I mean, if that's the look I want to go for is astronaut. But maybe that's not the one he's talking about.
Yeah, I've definitely seen them like that. Yeah, windsurfing.
Look at that one.
Goggles?
Oh, it's a visor you can add on. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Gath. Water ski hat. Oh, here we go. Buy sport kayaking. Oh yeah, there's the first one we saw. Yeah, I mean, are they good? I've never used them. They don't. Yeah. Barry Cruise, huh? That's cool. From Oz. What does that mean? Is that Australia?
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Anyway, Sean, thanks for adding that in. So anyway, this is a show I want to try to do. I get a lot of questions through different mediums that I can't answer because they're too complicated to answer with an email. So we'll do our best to answer them on the show when we can on Tuesdays too. So thanks for everybody for joining us. Dougie, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
And see you next time.
Okay.